As if getting a stunt driving charge in Ontario isn't stressful enough. Now, imagine those charges as a G2 driver. And there are many differences in the penalties in the way in which you need to handle your stunt driving charge and your stunt driving case with the G2 class license. So let's explore. Question 1, is there an increased license suspension for a G2 driver for a stunt driving charge? The answer is yes, and a little bit of no. Suspension number 1, the first wave of suspension happens at the roadside. Every single driver, regardless of the class of your license, G driver, G2 driver, G1 driver, everybody gets a 30-day roadside suspension, and this is equal across the board. Everyone gets a suspension from the officer. G2 suspension number 2. After the 30-day roadside suspension for stunt driving in Ontario, you will get back your G2 license until the outcome of your court case. However, you are now facing a minimum of a 1 to 3 year mandatory license suspension if you are convicted by the court for your charges. This is also equal to every single person convicted of stunt driving. The law states that any individual convicted of stunt driving will get an automatic 1 to 3 year license suspension from the courts and from the ministry. G2 suspension number 3. Now, here's where the difference occurs with a G2 driver. Even if you did not get convicted of a stunt driving charge, but for example, get convicted of the speeding portion of your charge, you will most likely get another 30-day suspension at the end of this. And this has nothing to do with the court. Rather, one of the restrictions of a G2 license is that if you get more than 3 demerit points, which means 4 demerit points or more at any given time, you will automatically get a 30-day license suspension from the ministry. So how else am I affected as a G2 driver with a stunt driving charge? There are some risks of presenting your case to a prosecutor as a G2 driver. So for example, G2 drivers are generally younger, which is frowned upon by the court. Younger drivers can't use the I have a clean record defense because you haven't driven long enough to have earned a clean record in the eyes of a prosecutor. G2 drivers also can't use the it's my first offense argument because, again, you've generally not been driving long enough to have earned the right to that statement. G2 drivers generally are also considered more dangerous by a prosecutor because of their age and their inexperience on the road. So a law firm that deals with stunt driving charges should be dealing with a G2 driver charged with stunt driving because it takes a specific strategy and a way of speaking to the prosecutor to handle the fragile nature of your G2 license and your charge. So if you want to keep driving, you will need to hire a firm that speaks the language of the Crown and has a solid strategy that they can clearly explain. And the good news, it all starts with a free consultation, so there is no expense or risk for you to understand that strategy. Book a call and keep your license.